Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Metropolis Radio. Today we are taking a look at this article here. Star Wars Visions Animator details unfair working conditions in anime industry. Star Wars Visions animator Joan Chung talks about the unfair working conditions that are prevalent across the anime industry as a whole. Now, I do have quite a few thoughts on this, but let's get into the article and the quote before I go into my thoughts on it. Starting here, Star Wars Visions animator Joan Chung discussed the unfair working conditions across the anime industry. Chung worked at Science Saru starting in December 2019 to June 2021. Her animation credits include Japan Sinks and Keep Your Hands Off. I know I've said this before, but I'm really bad pronouncing Japanese names, so I'm gonna butcher this. Keep Your Hands Off of Izuyukin. However, much of her work has yet to be officially announced. Blah blah blah. It just goes into what Star Wars Visions is the next paragraph. Here we go. Chung reached out to ANN, that is the Anime News Network, over email to discuss the deep-rooted issues in the anime industry. She expressed that before the COVID-19 pandemic, the workplace culture at Saru was positive. However, she explained how she has experienced some horror stories with Saru, although made sure to note that they are less than those with other production studios. Chung wrote about the unrealistic expectations being placed on the core team, which is driven to employees feeling incredibly overworked. And here is what she said. It is quite lengthy. It is about 3 paragraphs, but here is what she said, quote, "Prior to COVID, the studio culture was vibrant and communicative. Though I couldn't speak Japanese, I felt immediately welcomed into the company. One of my supervisors taught me how to skateboard during lunchtime. I was continuously impressed by my coworkers' ability to play while keeping their head up under a breakneck schedule. I've never experienced this kind of ethic in a Western studio." I think she meant to say Eastern studio, but okay. I have some horror stories from the studio, which are thankfully fewer than some of Star Wars competitors, but, and this is a big one for me, a studio should not have its 20-something girls crying in the bathroom doing all-nighters. Neither should it have a production schedule that is so tight that it is unable to accommodate the mental health of the aforementioned production manager. I had to speak on her behalf to her supervisor and the CEO, and though they responded compassionately, practically there could not be much change. A culture with this much production pressure necessitated the long hours. This year, Science Saru took on Inuyo, a feature, 2 single-season productions, as well as Star Wars Visions. I do not believe that this was a manageable number of productions. Its core employees range 40 to 50 in number, and though they liaise with many freelancers, the burden on the core team was heavier than it should have been. End quote. The article goes on. While many of Chung's projects have yet to be announced, Star Wars Visions is an absolutely massive series to be a part of, blah, blah, blah. Some of Star Wars' other titles include 2018's Devilman Crybaby and Japan Sinks 2020. However, some studios that receive projects as big as Star Wars Visions have issues managing client expectations and employee satisfaction. As Chung mentioned, it goes past Saru and exists as a bigger issue across the anime industry as a whole. The entertainment industry in general has had this issue for many years, part of it based on the concept that many of these employers perceive that employees should feel lucky to be working there. That's not just exclusive to the entertainment industry. While some industries have made changes to improve employee satisfaction, industries in other fields are still stuck in the 50s. For example, Activision Blizzard is being sued by the state of California for its abhorrent working conditions, especially in industries like anime production. There becomes a cultural work difference of Eastern versus Western. However, it's becoming much more normalized to speak out against poor treatment, blah, blah, blah. And that's how the article ends. But guys, what I was going to largely bring into this is they're talking about, Japanese anime studio bringing on a number of productions that, just can't be completed in a timely manner. All I have to really say is welcome to Japanese work culture, believe it or not. In fact, there is a word in Japanese now called karoshi. And do you know what karoshi stands for? It means death by overwork. It is actually more common for Japanese people to take like 15 to 20 hour shifts, and people wonder why there's a lot of suicide force in Japan, as long as a lot of Japanese just collapsing of heart attacks by the age of 40. And in fact, karoshi and this overworked population, people working 15 20 hours a week, if 15 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, is actually not really good for Japan economically. In fact, it's so bad that the Japanese government had to basically create a holiday called Premium Friday. And some are going to ask, what the hell is Premium Friday? Well, I pulled up an article here from Japan Today. It's only a couple of paragraphs, but this is basically what Premium Friday is. Premium Friday is a gem of an idea concealed in the coal of lukewarm execution. According to METI, who spearheads the project, the goal is for employees to leave work early on the last Friday of the month to put money into the economy and promote better work-life balance. In a country where a quarter of employees work 80 hours overtime a month, and some are even overworked to the point of death, the motivation behind Premium Friday is invaluable, yet it has no legal backing, and its promotional messaging is wishy-washy and puzzling, as can be found on Premium Friday's homepage. And I'm not gonna go ahead and show that, but yes, this is how bad Japanese work culture is. And this is also just basic economics 101 for people that don't know, is in order to have a thriving economy, money needs to be flowing in it like a river. So it doesn't matter if you're working, 15 to 20 hours a day, making, I'm just going to pull a number out of my ass here, making $150,000 a year. If you're not doing anything with that money is effectively worth zero. And that's not good for the country's economy, for any country's economy at large, is to have an overworked population. Typically, economies grind to a halt as a result. But before I go into giving a whole economics lesson, and I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off, I'm going to go ahead and end it right here, because I think I've gone on as long as I need to. Basically, what this animator is complaining about is, basic Japanese work culture that's been a problem for several years. And you can't attack it from multiple angles, from the fact that people are literally dying from working that many hours, and then you also have the economic issue. But if you guys have stuck around this long, thanks so much for doing so. And if you guys have been following me long enough, I am terrible at ending these. So I will just see you guys next time.